Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
You are welcome here.
No matter your religious beliefs or lack of belief, you are welcome here.
No matter your age, sex, sexual orientation, or gender identity, you are welcome here.
No importa tu ciudadanía, tú estás bienvenido aquí.
No matter your citizenship, politics,
or relationship status.
No matter your physical characteristics or health, you are welcome here.
Whoever you are, wherever you are from,
you are welcome in this place. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Montgomery online worship, January 10, 2021. I'm so glad you joined us here this morning. Many of you may remember the Reverend Jackie Lewis, who serves Middle Collegiate Church in New York, when the UUA President's Council came to hold their annual meeting in Montgomery a couple years ago. They brought worship. I mention that only because this morning I would like to light our chalice and invite you into this hour of worship with words from the Twitter feed of the Reverend Jackie Lewis. So damn tired of living in a country that treats black grief as a threat and white rage as a sacrament. I invite those who would like to join me in speaking aloud our congregational covenant. We, the members and friends of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Montgomery, promise to serve our community with open minds, willing hearts, and helping hands as we respect one another, honoring that our perceptions may differ, value our differences, working to better understand them in conflict, give joyfully of ourselves, being in harmony with our capabilities, and embrace our connections with each other, nature, the global community, and the great mystery of life. Now let's hear from our coordinator of religious education, Roger Burdett, with a time for all ages.
Good morning. I'm recording this on Thursday. It's the day after a mob broke into the nation's capital. I am processing all of that. Today, I thought about changing course with all the stuff happening right now that has created a lot of anxiety. But I'm not. I'm going to stick to my course. This was my plan. I got nosy this week. I went to the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. I just love it. I noticed these signs. So today, we're going to focus on words, hopefully of encouragement, from signs. Welcome, finally, to Time for All Ages. Go to the Blunt Cultural Park. What a treasure. It is so beautiful. I mean, just look at this. So beautiful. But right now, over near the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, around a lake that's in front of the museum, there are a series of photos. I encourage you to go to the Blunt Cultural Park and take a look at some photographs. Take a nice walk and enjoy the beauty, but look at the photographs by photographer Yusuf Karsh. He was a Canadian born in Armenia who took many meaningful photos of important people in the world. That was sort of his call to fame. And there are 10 photos out in front of the museum right now. I'm only going to share a few of them with you because I want you to go out and read the other quotes and see the other photos. But here are a few, and maybe you'll find some encouragement from these today. Jessie Norman. Her quote reminds me of a quote that could have been from one of us. It sounds kind of you to me. I am deeply spiritual. I revel in those things that make for good, the things that we can do to shed a little light, to help place an off-dissonant universe back in tune with itself. Long live art. Long live friendship. Long live the joy of life. This is Marian Anderson, another opera singer. There are many persons ready to do what is right because in their hearts they know what is right. But they hesitate, waiting for the other fella to make the first move, and he in turn waits for you. Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor, author. Human suffering anywhere concerns men and women everywhere. Bishop Desmond Tutu. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse, and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. I didn't say it, but I hope you saw that the theme of this exhibit is Voices of Change, and I just shared a few of them with you today. I hope you'll go out, enjoy the scenery, get some exercise, and read the others. And what is this? Across the street at the Shakespeare Festival, there are some other photographs. So I guess I'm going to have to be nosy and figure out what that's about. That's next week. Please take care of yourself. Have a great week.
We take a moment in each service to set aside time specifically to lift up and let go the things that we carry with us through the week. There were a lot of things going down this week. And as we come into this moment of joys and concerns. I would like to lift up the family and friends of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick and former Air Force Senior Airman Ashley Babbitt. Both of them died in conflict inside the walls of the U.S. Capitol. Airman Babbitt, because she was caught up in the deluded madness of the day and believed that she was part of an action that would restore some mythical state to our nation. Officer Sicknick, Brian, was apparently a supporter of our current outgoing president, but he had a reputation for being a helper, a kind and gentle presence, and we lift their families up in the midst of all this. For all of those among us here and distant around the country and perhaps around the world who are feeling in their spirits and in their bodies right now the anxiety and trauma of the insurrection attempt this week. For those who continue to live with illness, for those who live with poverty, unemployment, uncertainty, for those without enough food to eat, for those without a safe home, for all of those in our community and those known and unknown to us. We lift up our hearts and extend our compassion. Leah Morris released a new song this week, and so I'd like to use it as the setting now as we use the chat box adjacent to the video screen to share what is on your heart this morning, the joys as well as the sorrows, the worries, and the celebrations.
Hey, you guys, Leah here. So I'm going to sing a song for you. And it's cool if you just want to listen. But it'd be great if you feel like singing along or maybe doing the moves that I'm going to do. You might even want to add other words into it. Peace, love, joy.
Peace be with me, peace before me, peace to the right of me, peace behind me, peace to the left of me, peace above me, peace below me, peace within. Peace be with you, peace before you, peace to the right of you, peace behind you, peace to the left of you, peace above you, peace below you, peace within. Peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace be with us, peace before us, peace to the right of us, peace behind us, peace to the left of us, peace above us, peace below us, peace within, peace within, peace within, peace within.
So it's the second week now of our Chalaka commemoration, which we begin in the new year, and the second principle.
To Be Hopeful in Bad Times by Howard Zinn. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents. And to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed her grace on thee, and crown thy good in neighborhoods from sea to shining sea.
Oh, beautiful, for reason led, the founding of our rules, the balance of the power trumps the tyranny of fools. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law.
Oh, beautiful, our open skies, how far our eyes do go. We crave a land unlimited by anyone's control. America, our liberty has blinded us with greed. Our bounty has deluded us to take more than we need.
How humbling that grace bestowed on our unworthy heads, when we, the people, turn our backs on families that that fled.
America, our borders ache. Oh, let us find our soul. Unite the families torn apart, each broken heart be whole.
Oh, beautiful to make amends for our abhorrent acts, our country built by labor forced on stolen lands and backs. America, repent for this, repair and say what's true. Let equity our promise be, declare these truths anew. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed her grace on thee, and crown thy neighborhoods from sea to shining sea.
We made it to Sunday. Wednesday, January 6th, was a holiday in the Western Christian tradition. It's the holy day of Epiphany. Epiphany from the Greek meaning manifestation or appearance. Epiphany on the Christian calendar is the moment at which the Magi, the three kings or wise men, arrive at the birthplace of Jesus in Bethlehem. So it's on January 6th. It's the 12th day of Christmas. That's where we get the 12 days. And you know, it's January 6th every year, and for some reason, we never seem to notice that it always falls on the same day that every 4 years, Congress certifies the results of the national election. I wonder why that never came up before. Epiphany, right? Sudden awareness, enlightenment, as if by divine inspiration. And in case a little sense of irony is not already seeping in, I want to point out that one of the traditional ways of marking the holiday is to have a blessing of your house, a holy occasion for the most unholy of events this year. January 6th, when the morning began, most of us awoke to the news that both Senate seats in Georgia had gone to the challenger. It would be a new day in Washington, a day that ushered in the possibility of some healing from 4 years of deadly harm. The joy was almost more than I could contain, certainly more than I could articulate. No, it didn't set everything right, but yes, it made something possible that a moment before seemed entirely out of reach. After more than 1,400 days of our nation digging itself deeper and deeper, as if we would not stop until we reached the earth's core or the entrance to hell, suddenly it was like somebody tossed down a rope ladder and we could begin the long, slow, painful process of climbing back up to the earth's surface again. So in the morning after I got up and took in that news, and thinking about what I was going to do with that on Sunday. I was reflecting on Epiphany, planning to speak about our yearning to get back to a normal way of life, a way of living together, but not back to normal, because the normal that we came from is how we got here. And if we went back, it could only bring us here again. So I was going to talk about what do we do to change our ways. Epiphany. An instantaneous, almost ecstatic realization. And then the rest happened. Several thousand self-styled warriors, identified as protesters at first, but obviously something very different from that. See, I've been a protester. Pro meaning forward, and testare meaning proclaim or assert. Suddenly I thought we need another word, something like retro-tester. These people were asserting or proclaiming, all right, but it damn sure wasn't forward. It was in reverse, like back to the 19th century. And as I sat in front of the television, in horror and grief, what played out in front of me set my mind back to a November day in 1898. This is the first time in recorded American history that political terrorism and a mob of white insurgents successfully overran a legitimately elected government and replaced it by a cabal of white supremacists who took control of a majority black city, Wilmington, North Carolina. It was wildly successful. It marked a turning point in what came to be known as Southern redemption, an antidote to Reconstruction. White people with guns, taking back their country, a country which was never theirs, but ruled by them based on a delusion of divine right. Wilmington, North Carolina, November 10th, 1898. The anguish of this week's insurrection, as I struggled with how to talk about it, I realized it really does take two distinct shapes, two adjacent but really separate forms of trauma. And I believe it is terribly important to recognize the connection as well as the distinctions. One was the attack on the civic institutions, the thing that was witnessed and commented on in horror by news anchors worldwide, the busting down of the Capitol doors, the broken windows, the cement walls being scaled, a direct armed assault on the democratic process and the legally constituted institutions, the legitimate electoral systems, nearly 250 years old. And then on the other hand, there is the explicitly racist assault. Violent white supremacists, complete with Confederate battle flags and nooses at the ready, easily overpowering the guardians of our bold experiment in multiracial coexistence and self-government. There's two forms of attack: the attempted coup and the attempted race massacre came together in a way that they have not done since that November day of 1898 in Wilmington. 120 years ago, the catalyst was seething resentment at defeat in the Civil War and the humiliation and insult of Reconstruction that followed, the indignities experienced by formerly powerful white Carolinians, by outside agitators, as they saw it, ignited a rage that overpowered any moral principle or virtue or ideal. That happened again this week. And this time, the catalyst was Donald Trump. I think that's the first time I've ever spoken his name in a worship service. Note that he was not the cause, a catalyst. In chemistry, a catalyst is a substance that initiates or accelerates a chemical reaction without itself being affected. You see, it doesn't sacrifice itself in the process, it just sets it off. A catalyst. The components of the reaction, multiracial democratic process meets white supremacy. Now, these two things have lived together in this country since our earliest age. In the smoldering embers of the white resentment from the Obama era, this amoral sociopath saw an opening. I want you to make no mistake about this, because we'll never get a handle on this moment in our history unless we understand. This presidency was always and only about white control and power. His words and actions have always let us know that. Not everyone who voted for him in this November necessarily had actively racist attitude or intent. I actually believe not everyone who participated in the violent overtaking of the Capitol had actively racist attitude or intent, but everyone who voted for him this time had to decide that whatever benefit they could gain from his continued presidency was more important than the safety, the well-being, and even the lives of Black and brown people. That might not have been true in 2016. Most American voters, I'm sad to say, just don't pay a whole lot of attention to the history and the character of the person they vote for. They got two to pick, and they pick one that feels better. They often pick one they know least about, because the more they learn, the more averse they become to a candidate. All the evidence was plainly there. But I know people who just really didn't know because they just really didn't look. But this time around, it was different. I'm sorry. The vulgar and violent expressions could not have been missed, and nearly half of America's citizens thought those things just weren't as important as some imagined advantage they would gain. Now, these are people who would never do anything to harm a Black person. They might even go out of the way to help someone in need who was Black if they knew them. But the damage, the real deadly harm that this administration has done, that this president has done is so far removed from the daily lives of these people that it just never pierces the bubble. It's not even real to them. That to me is the most tragic piece in all of this. You see, I know and care about some of these people. I've been minister to some of these people. Some of them maybe have been jolted into some level of sanity by the outrageous events of the week. Some members of Congress who have actively, enthusiastically supported the corrupt and racist actions and intentions of this president were, if not actually persuaded, at least shamed enough to back away from the overtly racist and clearly corrupt words and behaviors. Now, some were not. In the entire Alabama delegation, Senate and House, only Richard Shelby and Terry Sewell voted to certify the Electoral College votes. Second principle: justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Justice, equity, compassion. Justice, equity, compassion. Okay, look, if you are in a class of people, the combination of the various populations that were deliberately under attack this week, violent attack, death threats, this week or at other times during this presidency, I'm not going to ask you to trust and welcome those who have come to their senses, ostensibly. It's too much. It's too soon. There's too much at stake. Now, I'm prepared to do that myself as best I can. I pledge myself to do that, to receive those who say that they have come to understand. But I damn sure I'm not going to ask you to do it. I will not ever knowingly endorse a privileged status for people who have done such terrible harm to others, repentant or not. The time will come, I believe, for those who show themselves willing and ready to enter into the covenant of Unitarian Universalism and of our congregation. But in this moment of terrible trauma so near that the sounds and the smells of it are still in the street, I encourage you to do yourself the grace of keeping distance and to relinquish any guilt that you may have thrust upon yourself for not being able just now to honor the inherent worth and dignity of people who sought to destroy justice, equity, and compassion for every person living in this country. And yes, I mean every person. The damage that they were trying to do was also to them, to the straight white Christian men. Because, hey, this is one thing I know. I don't know a hell of a lot, but this thing I know. None of us is free until all of us are free. They can't see that yet, But if they do, then when they do, we'll be here. These are dangerous times. This insurrection of lost cause Confederates is ongoing. It hasn't ended, but neither have we. Nothing has ended, and nothing is dying except for the rule of white supremacy. Okay, I know. It doesn't look that way right now. I get it. But what we're seeing, what we saw this week, and what we will see in coming weeks, it's desperation. Because what always worked before doesn't work anymore. See, white supremacists could always depend on the Electoral College and voter suppression and the National Party leadership that kept control and kept the wrong candidates out of the way and controlled the funding, and everything was okay for the white supremacists until like now, and they're freaking out, okay? It's only going to be a few years before white folk are a numerical minority in this country. The chaos and the noise and even the violence may not be over, but they're screaming now because the power is slipping away. And we need you in the struggle. We need, look, every mind and heart and spirit and voice and hands, we need you. So look, if you need to go out and you don't feel safe, call me. I can't always be everywhere, but I can if I will, and I can find somebody to be there with you. If you're at home and you don't feel safe, call me. If you want to help and you don't know how, call me. And let's brainstorm. Forces of evil will fight back even more fiercely as it feels like the power is slipping away. But we got this. Last Tuesday night, did you see it? Racism lost a statewide election in Georgia for the first time in our history. It's bending. Members of Congress and senators are openly calling for charging a sitting president right now with sedition. For the first time in history. It's bending. In a few years, people of color will outnumber white people in this country, and it is our task right now to clear the paths that will become roads, to tear down the walls where there will be entranceways, and to speak the unpopular and even dangerous truths that will be the moral foundations of our nation for the next century. Damn it, we are the ones we have been waiting for. And we got this. Let's get going.
This is the truth of who I am, and it's taken me my whole life to celebrate. I won't go back. You can give me a number, slap on a label, tell me I won't be welcome at your table, but I won't bow down to the tyrants anymore. to set things right, to bring us home. It's gonna take all our courage, take all our actions, take every heart in every single fraction, and it's gonna take time. Some of us won't live that long. When one gets weak, it means it's your turn to be strong. Tyrants always fall, and always. 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 Tyrants always fall, always.
We got a lot of stuff starting up this month. There's an email that I was trying to send out last night, and I just, with all this going on, I couldn't get it completed, so it'll be out a little later today. Watch for it. There's a bunch of good stuff in there. Upcoming stuff is in there. Now, this week is going to be a busy week. Todd Robinson's got his politics discussion on Monday night, moved it a little. Please go to our website, uumontgomery.org. Got the whole schedule and all the links right there. I mess it up if I try to do it from memory, but we got Monday night, we got Todd Robinson. Tuesday night, we got Terry Sweeney with ASL. Wednesday night, we got you and you. Come on. Connect. Join us. If you're in too much distress to speak, then don't speak, but come and be with us, because we need you. I want to leave you with another quote from the Reverend Jackie Lewis. If you're judging yourself for not being productive in recent days, don't. Be gentle. Make some tea. Take a bath. Have a big glass of wine. Do what you need to get through, because we need you. Our service has ended. May our service begin.
Supporters of the president trying to force their way into the Capitol.
Breaching the security line.
Now, we have been told protesters are inside the Capitol building.
That's insurrection against the United States of America.
We have a moment in time. People are going to look back, our kids are going to look back at this and say, you were a part of that.
Stop shooting us.
This is how you create change behind it. We're going to give the power.
The consensus is to not play in tonight's slate of games.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on the shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Well, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, what I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gotta keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving to that separating line. I'm winning through muddy waters. No, I got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gotta keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone, and I just might fail, but Lord knows I've tried. Sure as stars fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gotta keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gotta keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me.